just before I dive into this, I did, you're going to see in a minute, make a whole video talking about Sabri leaving and talking about who I wanted to replace Sabri. Just as I finished, I found out we've got Chris Hughton. So yeah, I think that's a decent appointment. I'm not 100% sure about it, to be honest with you. Like I mentioned later on, I did want Howe or Jardim. But I think it's a decent signing. He knows the league. He got Brighton promoted. I think he might have been in charge when Newcastle got promoted. I can't remember. I think that's a good signing, a good appointment. He seems to be a manager who knows what he's doing. He's got a solid head on him, a solid football head. I think he'll help us to be shored up at the back, help us to grow in confidence, and he did really, really well with Brighton. So I could see him doing well with us. I'll be really interested to see how he does. I'm trying to think now if he's managed any players that we've got. I can't think off the top. He might have managed Colback, but I don't really know off the top of my head. I've just literally seen that he's been appointed and started recording. So yeah, I'm unsure about the appointment. I think it'll be a good one. I'm being swayed by his end at Brighton where he was so poor. They were awful. And the way he dealt with Brighton in the Championship, he did a really, really good job with them. So, I'm a bit 50-50. I think it's a good signing. I'd rather have him in charge, who's been in the Premiership, who's been around in this country for a long time, management-wise, than somebody who we'd never heard of from abroad. I know it kind of worked with Sabri, but with Hughton, I think it'll be an interesting one. I think he knows this league, he knows this country well in terms of the managerial side of things. So yeah, I think it's a decent signing, positive signing. I think it'll be interesting to see how things go. He's got 2 weeks now to bed things in, to get to know the boys who aren't on international duty, get his point across. So yeah, I think it's a decent signing, but we'll have to see how things go. So yeah, on to the video where I didn't know Chris Hughton had been appointed. How's it going, Talk Forest TV? My name is Jack and welcome to my reaction to Sabri Lamouchi's contract being terminated at the City Ground. Now, yeah, I'm sad to see him go. I really am. I would love Sabri. Like, I put this out on my Twitter saying something like, every time I see a Sabri out comment, or this was before it was announced, or like a report saying he's going, it just makes me think of last season and the Leeds at home, the Brentford aways, Fulham away at the start of the season, West Brom away. It makes me think of those moments and the incredible feelings it gave us as Forest fans, and how Sabri was one of the most loved guys in the whole of Nottinghamshire about 9 months ago. Before lockdown, he was, people were worshipping the ground he was walking on pretty much. But how time can change. I think ever since that Derby game, unfortunately, it's got to be said, he's never really been the same never been the same team. He's never really had the same sort of atmosphere around the dressing room that he had before. And his sort of tactics weren't working. He's sitting back trying to play negative and nicking a goal on the break just wasn't working. Things weren't going for us. Other teams had sussed out what Sabri was all about, and he had no other plan to try and combat that. So it is sad to see him go. I do like Sabri. He seems like a really nice bloke. I always hear him in interviews, and I won't say feel sorry for him, but I'm always like, yeah, I quite like this guy. I like him. But, he's gone now, and the managerial merry-go-round starts again at the City Ground. I mean, I saw someone say it's a poison chalice at the City Ground, and they're not really wrong, to be honest, because Sabri was the first manager since Billy Davies, I think 10 years ago now, that was in charge in 2 separate seasons, and that's not good enough, really. We need consistency at the club. And I think it was probably the right thing to do with Sabri to go. Even though I didn't want him to go, the way we started this season was inexcusable. I mean, you look at old managers who have gone. O'Neill wasn't the best, but he'd only had a couple of months. Karanka, he had a decent season. He was doing well, but he was in a bad patch during that season. It wasn't like he'd started the season and there was 4 games gone. So I can see why, in the past, why people like to stick with a manager. This time I can see why he's gone. I wanted him to stay. I really wanted him to do well at the club. But I can understand why, EM's let him go. I can understand that. At the start of the season that he's produced has been really, really poor. And I think it's about time he goes to get somebody new in. It didn't look like he had the capability to turn things around no matter what he said in the press conferences. But like I said, I really want him to stay. I really liked him as a person. But sometimes in football, your sort of, I guess, loyalties or what your heart says about someone sometimes, is not the right thing for the club. And, for example, it could be, you could have a 34, 35-year-old player, or maybe that's a little bit old, 32-year-old player, maybe, who's been at the club for years and he's done a really solid job. But you need younger players to come through in his position because his legs are going a bit, he's lost that yard of pace. And, it's a little bit like that. You can love someone in football in terms, but if it's not working and if things aren't going the way that they want to be and you're not getting success under them, then it might be time to go, and unfortunately for Sabri it is. I just really, really hope now that Evangelos Malinakis makes the right decision, the right appointment, because I've seen different links saying, we wanted this bloke who we'd had a couple of times before at Olympiacos. I think he'd had him twice at Olympiacos and he'd sacked him twice, or he'd had him twice. I don't know what club it would have been at, but he did say they had him twice and he had been sacked twice by Marinakis. I think he was getting on a bit. I think he was about 60 years old. So yeah, long term that wouldn't really have worked out. And if he'd sacked him twice, I don't really want him again. And we're also looking at this guy who used to be Braga manager. I think his name's Pinto Sa or something like that. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But again, I don't really want that. We're looking at Chris Hughton as well. I think that'd be a decent appointment, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I want a manager it brings an attacking style, an exciting style of football. Maybe not so much attacking, but an exciting style of football, and you've got these, I don't know what brand of football these these people have been linked to, these foreign people we've been linked to have, but I don't know, I just don't know if our players will really get behind him. Will they get behind a bloke who Marinakis has sacked twice? If he's sacked him twice, he clearly hasn't done the job he wanted. So why would he bring him in again? I just don't know what the thinking behind that is. The two that I really want, one I think we probably could get, but I'd be surprised if we got him. And the other one I think is a very outside chance, but who knows? So the one that I think we could probably get, I'd be surprised if we do get him, is Eddie Howe. I love Eddie Howe, formerly of Bournemouth, and I think he was at Burnley as well. Did such a good job with Bournemouth, and he plays an attacking style of football, likes possession, likes to keep possession and be a bit more progressive than Sabri was. So I'd love to get him. He's a name that people have heard of. He's done it in the Championship before. Okay, it was only one season where he went straight through the Championship, but he's going to command that respect from players because he used to be a Premiership manager. He's managed Grabban before, he's managed Arta before, so he knows some of the squad. He'll be a decent fit, I think, and he's out of football at the minute. It'll be a good way for him to start to get if he gets Forest up in the first season, he's going to have the backing of every single man and woman and child involved with our club, and he's going to be loved by everyone, and he's going to have that, about him. And I believe he could get us up if he does come to the City ground. And the other manager, we were linked a lot to him after Marinakis let go of Karanka, and that's Leonardo Jardim from formerly of Monaco, and I think he was at Olympiacos under Marinakis. That's why the links were being branded to him. And if we can get him, that would be absolutely incredible. A manager who'd been in the semi-final of the Champions League, if I remember correctly. I think it was it? Yeah, I think it was. Semi-final of the Champions League that season when they won the league. They beat Man City. Trying to rack my brains as I'm talking as to who it was who knocked them out. I think it was Juventus. It was Juventus because Juventus went on to lose against Real Madrid at Cardiff. That season. But yeah, if we could get him, that'd be incredible. A counter-attacking 4-4-2 style of play, two up top like he used to play with Falcao and Mbappe. If we can get him, that'd be incredible. That would be like a Marcelo Bielsa style of recruitment, of that statement of intent, that sort of, you would say it's kind of world class if you can get a team to the semi-final of the Champions League. He's got something about him. So if we get him, that'll be brilliant. But yeah, sadly he's gone now. I still, still gonna have a place in my heart for everything he did post lockdown last season. Pre-lockdown. Sorry, not post lockdown. Definitely not post lockdown. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens now and what goes forward in the future. So if you did enjoy, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new around here, new around Talk Forest TV. Look out for videos on TFTV Extra, Dan's second channel, and come on you Reds.